So welcome to the Economic Development Committee meeting of the Morgan Hill Chamber of Commerce. Today we have Mayor Mark Turner, and I believe Joe Mueller from the Planning Commission is going to join us also. And we're going to discuss the Santa Clara County proposed zoning changes that will impact farmers, ranchers, and wineries. So it'll be an interesting discussion. Why don't we start off by going around the virtual table and introduce ourselves. Again, I'm Rick Kent. I'm the co-chair of this committee and member of the board of the Chamber of Commerce. Larry?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Larry Carr. I serve on the board of directors for the Chamber and work with Rick on this committee, and I represent the Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
Alex?
Hi, good morning. Alex Kennett, Open Space Authority and local realtor.
And Mayor Turner?
Well, I'm Mark Turner, Mayor of Morgan Hill.
Steve McFarland?
Hi, good morning. I'm with the Chamber of Morgan Hill. Good morning, everyone.
Mario?
Mario Banuelos, Chamber Board Member.
Brian?
Brian Sullivan, a citizen of Morgan Hill.
Jennifer? Jennifer, you're muted. There you
Yeah, sorry. Good morning. My name is Jennifer, and I'm the assistant branch manager at our new Merrill West branch in Morgan Hill.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Daniel?
Hi, good morning. Daniel Tovar, branch manager for Merrill West Credit Union, joining Morgan Hill.
Well, welcome. Matt?
Hey, good morning. Matt Mayhood, Economic Development Director, City of Morgan Hill.
John Horner?
Morning, everyone. Good to see you. John Horner, Board President, Morgan Hill Unified, and also a resident on acreage in the county. So this is a topic of personal interest as well.
Nadia?
Good morning, everyone. Nadia Webster with the Office of Government Relations at Valley Water.
And Teresa?
Good morning, everyone. It's Teresa Chapman here with Slingshot Connections. We're a workforce and staffing solutions company with heavy support and staffing in the Morgan Hill area.
And John McKay?
Good morning. Sorry, my phone is muted here. Good morning, John McKay, Downtown Association Board, Visit Morgan Hill Board, and I've been working to help promote the wine region for about the last 15 years. So this is all very interesting to me too. Thank you.
And Lori Allen's on the phone also.
Good morning, Lori Allen, Director of Programs, Events, and Member Services of the Chamber of Commerce.
And I see Joe Mueller is just connecting. Joe, do you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. Joe Mueller, Morgan Hill resident, member of the Planning Commission, and the 2025 Man of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Welcome.
I get in trouble when I don't say that.
And Nick, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Nick H. from Morgan Hill Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, so why don't we get going with our discussion? I think Mark Turner, Mayor Mark Turner, is going to lead it. So I'll give you the floor.
Very good. Thank you. And thanks for allowing me to come in and talk about this this particular subject. I'm going to give you just a little bit of four things I'm going to talk with you about, just a brief background, which I think all of us, how this came to our attention just really recently. I'll talk about some of the issues, very summarized issues that I've learned from the farmers, ranchers, and winery owners, a little bit of my involvement, and then finally where we are today. I will not be doing a deep dive into the 110-page document from the county. I think that Joe Mueller probably will be better equipped to handle any of those deeper questions that you may have. I'm just going to come at this from the perspective of really my involvement and what I've learned, and hope to provide some information that will be helpful to all of you. So this really came to my attention just about a month ago. I happened to be at the food and winery event when someone approached me who is the sister of Tyler Flippo. I don't know if you know him. He's one of our ranchers here in South County. So she asked me to give him a call, and I did. And he began to explain to me some of the challenges that the farmers, the ranchers, and winery owners are facing. So I began to have some other conversations with some of the other small farmers and began to learn more about the challenges that they were facing with these proposed zoning amendments. From there, I began to make some phone calls to the Morgan Hill Chamber. Nick, you and I had spoken. Visit Morgan Hill. I called the Cattlemen's Association, Santa Clara County Farm Bureau, visit Gilroy Chamber, Mayor Bozo, and try to get as many people connected and involved in this who may not have already known about it. Several of these organizations did know what was going on, but began to lend a little bit more of an ear to what the challenges were for these small farmers. It also affects, there's religious organizations as well that are impacted by this. And so there's a component in those amendments. And so the religious community has paid attention. I actually had a meeting with a number of pastors yesterday. They were expressing some of their concern and what their hopes were and their involvement with this as well. But I'm going to come at this more from the ag community, farmers, ranchers, and winery owners, and what I've learned. And what I asked for from all of them was to give me a summary of what their really their issues are, because I wasn't going to try to jump into the 100-page document and then begin to break it down on my own. They were more actively involved and had a lot of concerns. And so what they did, and I'm going to read some of this to you. I'm not going to, reading can really get people to be disengaged on a Zoom call. So I'm going to be real careful about what I read, and I'll try to get through it quickly. They really kind of summarize, this is more for the small farmers and wineries. They came up with what they really felt like were 3 concerning issues. The proposed amendments require farms to have on-site agriculture in order to receive planning clearance to sell their agricultural produce and host agritourism events. To receive this designation, farms must have either 6 acres with row or field crops, 24 acres being grazed by livestock, or 60% of the parcel under cultivation. These thresholds are impossible and undesirable for many of the small farms. A survey of 10 small Santa Clara County farmers found only 1 property that would qualify under the proposed definition, despite all generating more than $30,000 in annual income from their farm business and at least 1 member of the household working on the farm full time. So you can see that already they've identified where this really becomes a challenge. One of the farmers who would be affected by this is in San Martin. There's a small sort of grow and pick your own flowers. They make boutiques. I don't recall the name of the small farm. They have 2 acres that they live on and operate their flower operation. Very small area that they grow flowers, plenty for what they do. And under this proposed amendment, they would have to grow flowers on 1.2 acres of their land, more than they could even handle, more than they could even manage. And so that's where some of the problems come into play. This would also affect new farms. The amendments create an illegal by default scenario, creating real challenges for them as they try to get started. It forces small farms to grow to an undesired size. What I had just mentioned for this flower farmer, they would have to grow flowers on 1.2 of their 2 acres. It doesn't account for biodiverse farm operations. It doesn't account for the reality of being situated on a property with a residence. That wouldn't come into play, and that would cause, again, some challenges with what they would have to do as far as growing their crops. Number 2, the concerns are being planning clearance for on-site sales. The proposed amendments require a planning clearance, ministerial permit for on-site agricultural sales, whereas the current code allows this by right. So the possibility of permit refusal if open code enforcement investigation occurs. This change puts small farms at risk of arbitrary enforcement. So they could come in, cite you for something, and shut down your sales and operations. And some of the farmers are already facing that. They've already been told that they can't operate, and so they've been for 6 to 12 months without anything going on. Farm stand sales are currently by right. The draft amendments make farm stands require a planning clearance instead of by right, and that creates a challenge for these small farms as well. And then number 3, current code enforcement practices allow inspectors to expand their review beyond specific complaint under investigation In other words, a fishing expedition. So in these small farms, and this is what's happened to many of them, and usually, you know, the county, they will respond based on complaint, and that's when they'll come out and do an investigation. So many of these farms have had a neighbor that's made a complaint. They don't like the fact that people are showing up and spending time on these small farms. And so a neighbor might complain about one item, but when the county shows up, they really do an investigation of the entire farm and find many things that they can use to shut the farm operation down. And so that has been kind of the big issue. These are the three kind of big issues for farmers and winery owners. When it comes to the ranchers, and again, mostly with where we have equine operations, their concerns, the five that they have concerns about, is that what they're asking for is to remove the current requirements of a use permit for keeping horses not owned to the property owner. So if someone's got stables and they're, you know, housing a horse that doesn't belong to them, the county currently with their proposed amendments could require that to be shut down. They're asking that the county would define horses as livestock. They currently don't do that. I think the state does, but the county does not. Number three, they would want to remove horse keeping structures from the 10,000 building site coverage cap, so that they can have larger operations for housing horses. Number four would be allow horse keeping in agricultural and all rural zones. And then number five, work towards incorporating equestrian uses back into the agricultural zones. So those are what they've identified as their major concerns and how they want to go about getting this fixed. When I got involved, I began speaking to the owner of the small, it's called the Nest Box Farm. And in my conversations with them and some of the other farmers and ranchers, I told them what I can do is that I have relationships with the county supervisors and I can reach out to them. And so what we did was we began setting up meetings at the Nest Box Farm, and we invited, the first meeting included Supervisor Otto Lee and a representative from Supervisor Susan Ellenberg's office. And so we met with them at the Nest Box Farm, where we had numerous farmers, winery owners, and ranchers. We had a great meeting there with them. They toured the farm, and then we had a conversation about what these challenges are and the impacts to the ag community in South County. And for Supervisor Lee and for Supervisor Ellenberg's office, they were really taken back by what some of these suggestions, these proposed amendments were going to do to these small farmers. And so it was really an eye-opening opportunity for them to gain information and learn more about it. I think they left there very open to making some changes. And really what the ask has been so far from the ag community and from the ranchers and winery owners is that they get more time. These proposed amendments were initially going to be voted on by the end of the year. And so everyone has asked that they put this off until sometime late next year to allow the ag community to come to the table and have conversations with the planning department, the planning commissioners, and with the supervisors, so they all have a better feel of what the impacts are to South County. And then we had a representative from Supervisor MHCoC's office. He too was great to have him there. He learned quite a bit. And we have a meeting that we're trying to schedule with Supervisor Betty Duong's office, with actually the supervisor herself, in early December, and it looks like we're going to be able to set something up for her to come down. Supervisor Arenas has been involved and been meeting with a number of the different ranchers, farmers, and winery owners, and has been leading some efforts at the county to get some delays and some changes made to the proposed zoning amendments. So these have been real good meetings. They've learned a lot. They've really, I think, left there more compassionate toward what is happening in South County and the impacts that these proposed amendments will have. So those have all gone well. And where we are today, and I just received an email actually last night from the owner of the Nest Box Farm with an email that she received from Supervisor Arenas' office, where Supervisor Arenas is submitting a referral in order to put this out until late spring, where there can be a greater discussion. And she is going forward with asking for there be a widespread community process that takes place, allowing voices of the agricultural, vintner, religious, and equine and other stakeholder groups to participate. She's asking for the incorporation of community feedback and delivering a dramatically improved draft that supports the success of agricultural endeavors. And that has been the thing that we've been talking about with these supervisors is what they were unaware of is in South County, the ag industry supports hundreds of jobs and brings in about 150 and in some cases to $400 million of tourism dollars. And so it's a big impact to the county if these operations were affected negatively. Supervisor Arenas is also asking for a separation of equine policy from the rural zoning ordinance amendments. She's also asking for a new code compliance policy, including the amnesty program, which was something we've been asking for from the supervisors, is to provide an amnesty for these current operations to allow them to begin operating again for those who have been shut down and those to continue operating throughout this process. And it says, and more. So she'll be talking about more of this. So that's kind of where we're at today. And it looks like based on what I know from my involvement, what I'm hearing from the ag community, and certainly this referral by Supervisor Arenas, that this vote will be put off until late next year, and there will be participation by the ag community at the table to weigh in on what is going to be the best for all of us here in South County. So that long-winded, but that was sort of my report, and happy to answer questions as best I can. But I also know Joe Mueller will probably, on any of the more detailed deep dive on that policy, he'll be able to jump in and probably help out.
Okay, we have Matt has his hand up.
Mr. Mayor, thanks for being all over this.
Sure, absolutely, yeah, of course.
It's great, and I think I'd love for my team to jump in to help and support what you're doing. Do we know, and we've been tracking this, kind of behind the scenes while we're doing other stuff, but do you know what the impetus is? What's driving the county's decision-making and internally, like, why are they undertaking, what's the reasoning behind this undertaking to begin with? Because I think trying to understand that might help us, counter what they're trying to do. Because, Morgan Hill, we're all about trying to be, the county, continues to talk about ag land and the preservation of ag land. And Morgan Hill, we're talking about tourism and trying to grow tourism. And it just seems like these actions are just completely counter to what, both organizations are trying to go. So what are they trying to solve for, I guess, is what
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Matt. And I think what's happened here, again, as I mentioned earlier, the county is more complaint driven. They just don't start strolling around and looking for farms and doing inspections. When they get complaints is where they go out and then they have, then found other non-compliant issues. So as a result of that, and this is I'm speculating here, and I haven't been able to get an answer from somebody as to why they're doing this. And I will say that at our last meeting, we did have a few of the county planning commissioners who attended as well and learned more about this information. But because they're complaint driven and they've found other non-compliant issues, I think they went back and began looking at their codes and realized that they haven't updated anything since the 90s. That's what I'm hearing from them. And so as a result, I think they began looking at, and again, I don't think there was any ill intent here. I really don't. I think there was just an opportunity they thought to update their amendment to their codes, and that again, that they would it wouldn't affect anybody as negatively as it did. And so once this started to leak out and the proposed amendments were seen, that's when not only the ag community, but residents in South County in particular really raised up and made a stink about it. And I think it's from people who really didn't have an understanding of what is going on in the ag community. So I think they were thinking we can make these updates. It'll be great. People will love it. And failed to realize the financial burden they would put on these small farms and basically put them out of operation. Once the county supervisors began to realize that, that's when they began to say, oh, hold on, we need to take some time here. I've also, again, you read things online. I have people texting me or emailing me. There's this concern that, and Alex, this is where you come in. There's this the rumors going around that Open Space Authority is doing a land grab and they're trying to take hold of all these farms and all of this. And I spoke with Andrea, the CEO of Open Space, and had a conversation with her and told her what is being said out loud. And I've invited her to the next meeting that we're going to have, where Supervisor Duong will be there, and Andrea has agreed to be there, and we're going to bring some others to that meeting as well. So, Matt, again, long-winded, but I hope that helps. Again, I don't think it was by any ill intent. I think it was thought that we could do some good work here, and the unintended consequences began to show up, and people spoke up about it.
I'd like to be at that meeting as well if you put me on the list.
Sure, absolutely, Alex. Once we get that set, it's going to be early December, but I'll make sure you're aware.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. John Horner.
Yeah. Two things. First, I want to start with a sincere thank you. It is not a statutory role for the mayor of Morgan Hill to get involved so deeply in land use issues in the community around the city limits. So you're going, well beyond the requirements of the job, as defined, to really think of the community as a whole and how it all fits together. And I just want to take this moment quasi-publicly, to really thank you for doing that. You're really going above and beyond, and in a way that is good for people within the city limits and outside. You said it was long-winded, but that's about as briefly as one could provide the summary you provided. So I want to start with a really sincere thank you and acknowledgement. That's really an extraordinary bit of work that not everyone would have taken on.
Well, thank you, John.
So, and then just, and I offer, thinking in my role with the school district, I think of, we're hearing a lot about Nancy Pelosi as she approaches retirement, and she quite famously managed to link everything to For the Children. One of the things folks may not know is that, so at Morgan Hill, we have two vibrant ag programs, FFA programs, in both of our large comprehensive high schools. And in the county, we have two. Gilroy has one, Campbell has one, and everybody else has zero. So our students are very involved in this work as well. And the other thing we're a huge leader on through our student nutrition is buying local and regional, farm to lunch line, I guess I'll call it. Yeah. So, and it's really extraordinary. You've gotten supervisors beyond ours to come down and pay attention. I don't know the last time anyone other than our district supervisor actually spent some time in South County studying our issues. So well done on that as well. But as we do future things, if it's helpful, love to bring some of them through, like come see how this affects our kids in our schools as well. So, you use Nancy Pelosi's play. It's like, not only is it for the farms, not only is it for tourism, this is also for the children. So that might be another element to add to the advocacy. And if there's any way I can be helpful, just let me know.
Well, John, again, thank you for those kind words, and I appreciate that, and I certainly will. And I think to your point, what the Morgan Hill Unified School District is doing with regards to agriculture, the Michael Jochner, who is the director of nutrition for the school district, is doing a fabulous job. And as many of you may already know, he is going forward with a 20-acre farm at Sobrado, and he's had to do a lot of coordination with various cities in order to make this work. It is going to be a great addition to not just our community, but it's certainly, to the Morgan Hill Unified School District. But this is going to be if I'm not mistaken, the largest operating farm owned by a school district in the country. Yeah. So it is a great effort on his part.
Yeah, we're way ahead. We're either 10 years ahead or 50 years behind.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to second John's thanks. Mr. Mayor, you've gone above and beyond, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Nick, you have your hand up.
Yeah, no, thank you. Am I okay? Can you hear me okay, Rick?
Yes.
Okay, great. Especially, I wanted to thank the mayor as well. I mean, I know, Mark, you've been working on this. Oh, I got Caltrain going by me. Give me a quick second here. You can probably hear it behind me here. wanted to thank the mayor for obviously the great amount of work that's been done. I know you've been working on this now for probably over a month and a half when we first made the call. And you're right, it's very impactful because we're looking at 3 different business verticals that sometimes are complementary to each other as well. So there's deeper impact than I think a lot of people realize. So thank you for the study and the discovery and the continued work. Again, the chamber has had a few of the business members now already call the chamber concerned about obviously the potential vote that was coming down at the end of the year. So it's really good to hear that we've got a Supervisor Arenas that's looking to extend that for another year of research and discovery. And I want to make sure that our members know that the chamber is here to fully support them as well and love to be included in any discussions, Mr. Mayor, that you feel appropriate that we can be a part of because of our membership and the reach that we have. The question that I would have then, if this goes to where we all hope it does as far as an extension, what would be the process to continue to follow that through and more importantly have a voice in something like that? Are there steps that Supervisor Arenas' office is thinking about now as far as a construct beyond just the obviously the opportunity to push it out a little bit as far as an extension of time?
Yeah, thank you, Nick. It's a great question. In fact, in the email that I received from the gal there at Nestbox Farm, in the email that she received from Supervisor Arenas' office, she did mention that people can provide public comment. Next Tuesday, November 18th, they have a meeting at 10 a.m. On item 9 to urge the Board of Supervisors to approve the referral that Supervisor Arenas is putting forward. And so what I could do, Nick, if you'd like, I can forward the email to you because in that, it looks like there's a link. So if people want to participate by Zoom, they can either do it in person or they can also provide it in writing. But I can forward that link to you, Nick, if you want to then put that out to everybody.
Yeah, we certainly can do that as well. And we will have a voice in that session next Tuesday.
Perfect.
To follow
Thank
up as
you.
well on that. Right.
And I think too, I think it would be good probably, whether it's a separate email or even on that line, it'd be good to recognize Supervisor Arenas' efforts here. She's been involved and I think taking the lead and doing a good job on getting this referral. And I think it'll really be a benefit to our South County ag community.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thank you. Joe, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I actually went to the Horsemen's Association meeting a week ago, I guess it was, in the Thursday evening, and it was very interesting. And the planning director, I think her first name is actually Jacqueline, but they call her Jack a lot. She started the meeting with pretty much saying we need to do a reset. They've gotten a lot of feedback and they really need to step back and look at all the feedback and proceed, then start to redevelop what they're doing. So I fully believe there's going to be a reset. I fully believe the reset is probably closer to a year, the next spring, from what they were indicating at that meeting. The other thing I sort of learned is with any kind of change like this, and I'm going to apply some of my planning commission experience, is they very significantly didn't understand the impact of what they did, right? And what they need to do is, I think, or my suggestion would be that they do a stakeholders group much smaller. I mean, there was 50, 60, 75, maybe 100 people shoved into the Cattlemen's Association building, right? That's a very large group from even one stakeholder. And in this group, in this time frame, or for this change, we've got multiple stakeholders all over the place, from the small farmers to the larger farmers to the wineries to the non-ag uses that have been allowed in there. I think they need to have a much smaller group that they can talk with that represents each of the stakeholders and have a dialogue so that everybody understands. It was asked, why are they doing this? It really isn't clear. I haven't heard a good one other than what staff says when they started getting all these non-compliance meetings. So they went out and looked at code enforcement. I think they found some code enforcement issues where people have done things that are not permitted under their current code. But by the same tone, their code is not clear. In some areas, it could be a little bit good. And so what they were trying to do is take the subjective, and I'll give you an example. Rural supporting use, right? Not a regional resporting use. That was a definition that was in there. Well, what is that? And so they're trying to apply a more objective standard to it, and instead of leaving it so subjective that this and that and everything could get in. For instance, in the A zone, which is the ag exclusive, things were getting in via a use permit, a conditional use permit that really didn't support it quite way. So that's sort of the whole state of where we're at. And I think a stakeholders group that had 2 or 3 representatives from each of these various stakeholders sitting down and having a very transparent, clear discussion with planning staff would really help them move forward and get a much better proposal by the time they work through it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mm.
good suggestion. I understand John McKay has a question, but he's in his car, so he can't raise his hand. So John?
Okay, thank you, Rick. And I echo what John Horner said. Mayor Turner, you've really gone above and beyond, and it's great to see that the city of Morgan Hill is fully embracing, you know, how much agriculture in the region means to us. I've been working with the Wine Association for a very long time now, and so when this came up, I was kind of informally invited to come in because of my background as a planning commissioner and also as a city council member. You know, Joe and I and some of the rest of us here, we read planning speak, and the unfortunate thing is most people out there don't. You know, you sit in a room. I've attended 3 meetings. And people are asking questions about what the heck does this mean? What the heck does that mean? And so one of the things I urged Jackie, as she liked to be called, was just, you know, reduce the language to layman's terms, use more common language, use better, you know, just a better definitions, list of definitions, and also add diagrams because things got very confusing. I want to say that the first meeting I went to was one that Supervisor Arenas put together, and this was because she was excited about her agriculture economic development plan. Well, through the course of the meeting, she realized that she couldn't really work on agriculture development, economic development, unless we had agriculture. And so with the talk around the room at the time, it was very clear that most of these agriculture-related businesses were more worried about getting shut down than how to thrive. And so that really, I think that put a fine point on it. I haven't heard from her about the ag economic development since then. And then we went to 2 meetings with the county with the different groups. And I can tell you that one thing that really impressed me was county planning was listening. They were actually listening. And at first, you know, you get used to government agencies kind of like saying, oh, yeah, and then blowing you off. They were actually listening, and that was really very impressive. Kind of the informal explanation I got was that the county planners thought that they were going to better define what agriculture was within the county and then help, and that would help the farm, you know, the agriculture community, which of course it did just the opposite, but that was kind of the informal explanation. I know that Jacqueline, at the end of the second meeting I was at, she said, that's it, you know, we're putting this on hold and we're going to come back, you know, maybe next spring. So it's good to hear that they're going to actually do an even greater revise and step back and you know, take more time, more meetings. Very impressed with county staff wanting to be there. Very impressed with Sylvia Arenas' office stepping up, having at least one of the staff members at the meetings. And again, I think it's very important that Mayor Turner brought the other supervisors in, because the problem we've always had is our local supervisor understands ag, but there is no ag in any of the other supervisors' districts. None, no notable ag. And so they don't understand at all. They do not understand the needs, right down to not understanding how much water agriculture needs. So anyway, I would like to be involved in any future conversations. I kind of tapped in, but I'm not sure how extensive that goes. But I'll leave you with this, Mark, and anybody else that meets with them if I can't be there. And that is, they're talking about grandfathering in a lot of the farms, vineyards and whatever with their current infractions, grandfathering in. But the problem is, what happens when there's a change of ownership? And that is a huge thing, because a lot of people in the agricultural community basically base their retirement on being able to sell their farm, the land and all that stuff. So that's a very important key element that cannot be lost in the conversation. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
And John, just to follow up on that, even that grandfather clause, if you will, could be interrupted if by chance, say somebody at a small farm operation makes some adjustments, a little addition, that could trigger all of the new codes applying to them. So, when we talk about this grandfather clause, we have to make sure, and I think this is what the ag community will be weighing in on, is that it doesn't set them up for this massive financial investment that they'd have to make through permits and other things that would be put upon them. So those are going to be some of the things that have to be talked about as well.
Yeah, it's very important, because it's not just about today. There's also the future. And yes, you're absolutely right. It's the old permit game that I've lived it in construction. Once you do one thing, it opens up Pandora's box of all the other things you should do. So yeah, thank you for that.
If I may.
Thank you, John. Joe?
Yeah, Mark brought up the definition of livestock. This particular change actually removes horses, as proposed, from the definition of livestock, which puts it in conflict with California state law and federal law, right? And has a huge impact, because if you have livestock on your property, which a horse would be considered, has been considered livestock, that makes you on-site agriculture if there's some there. And Mark was talking about the thresholds that were involved in that, and they clearly indicated at the meeting that all those numbers were under review, right? And I saw it in a couple of the videos too. So, like I said, they really need a huge reset, and maybe rethink how they engage the stakeholders as they develop this new draft and go forward, rather than taking it all the way out to a draft and then going to the communities and seeing it. Get them involved now and have them working with you all the way through.
Well, maybe just a follow up to Joe's comments. That's my concern. I mean, if we can get a pause on this, say for another year or another several months, what's the process to be able to have the right voices at the table before the draft is done? And certainly the chamber would be happy to work with Matt and as well as Mark, you on the city level, to be able to call those sessions together, to be able to make sure that all voices are heard well before the drafts are delivered. That may then obviously have consequences that could be unintended, but it would be better now that we have potentially some time to be able to do greater discovery, just to ensure that the right voices are clearly articulated as far as the message and more the need, what the consequences could look like. Right.
Well, I think overall, I
thank
think
you,
it's a
everybody.
great start. I was just going to mention where we're at is a great start. If however many can weigh in, make a phone call, write something up, or participate, in person, I think that'd be a great help. And from there, and I do believe that the supervisors will be on board with Supervisor Arenas' referral, which is going to buy us quite a bit more time and allow us to, again, whether we're organizing meetings or jumping into existing meetings to help the ag community here, I think we'll be in a good position to do so.
Fantastic. Are there any other people that are on the phone that may not be able to raise their hand that have questions? Okay, if not, we'll move along. This is an interesting topic near and dear to my heart. Previous life, I had a small 5-acre horse ranch, and we had boarders, and obviously that would be subject to this kind of regulations. So, if we can, Matt, economic development, anything you've got to update us?
Catching me off guard, huh?
Sorry.
You know when that happens, you know what I do? I kick it to Brittany.
We knew that was coming.
Hey, I will say this is, we had a meeting internally. Mayor Turner asked staff to review our street vendor, mobile vendor policy and issues or guidelines, and referred the city council, asked that we come back with a report. So we internally met with our police chief, planning, code enforcement, economic development, public services to talk about the issue. And we are in the process of putting together a staff report and looking to come back to the city council either the first meeting in December, I think, with our recommendation, or not necessarily a recommendation, but additional information, maybe with a recommendation for city council to consider and have a conversation about street vendors. And I'm going to keep it pretty vague at this point. But we are coming back as requested by the mayor to have a discussion on this issue, and we will include in that discussion a little piece about food trucks, because we think we have some issues with some food trucks in downtown. So there's that, and then I think I'll leave Brittany the rest to update.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Just a few minor updates. Right now, we are in the holiday shopping season. So the city of Morgan Hill, in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce, launched the Buy Local Holiday Passport. That's something we didn't do last year. We did 2 years previously. We've made some changes to it. We have about 46 businesses participating, so you can grab a passport in any of the participating businesses at the Chamber of Commerce or at City Hall. So you grab your passport and you open up the center of it, and it lists every single business that's participating. When you go to a business and you make a purchase, doesn't matter if it's $5 or $5,000, we don't care, just make a purchase at a participating business, you earn a sticker from that business. Once you have 5 stickers on there, you take a picture of it and you upload it for a chance to win one of, I think we have 4 or 5 raffle prizes. So that is underway. We actually launched that November 3rd. That will run all the way through December 31st. If you go on to the Buy Local Instagram or Facebook page, you'll see a really awesome reel that Sergio from the communications team put together, kind of highlighting the program, how it works, and some of the businesses participating. I will say that we also, Chris built in there some wild cards. So if we had businesses that wanted to participate after the deadline, they are still able to participate. All they'll do is give us their logo, they'll be added onto the website, and then they can use any of those wild cards as well. So also, if you want to go to, let's say, Coffee Guys is your favorite coffee spot. If you want to use more than just their one spot on the passport, you can also use the wild cards. So if you wanted to patronize them several times, you can use multiple stickers for them. So just trying to make it as easy as possible and encourage people to spend money in some of our small businesses this year. So again, that is running now and will run through December 31st. On Monday, Matt and I will be hosting an economic development quarterly update meeting. That's at 9 a.m. If anybody would like to participate or need the Zoom, just let me know. Really, this is geared towards our downtown business and property owners, as well as our shopping center owners, brokers, and property managers. The content of the meeting, the police department are going to open the meeting, and they're going to talk about ways to prevent retail theft and crime during the holidays, some best practices. Our housing team is then going to jump on, and they're going to talk about ways ways to engage with the unhoused and resources that you can provide for them. And then Matt and I will jump on and give an update for ED activities that have been the prior quarter, the remainder of the year, and kind of our estimated work plan for the first 6 months of next year. That will also include an update for the live entertainment permit, which Matt was able to bring forward and get approved by City Council, which basically allows live entertainment by right until 10 p.m., which is exciting. So we'll give updates on all of that. Last but not least, I am engaging with many of our partner organizations to put together a series of events in celebration of next year's 120th anniversary of the city. So the first thing we are actually launching is a logo design contest. I'm hoping we launch that on Friday, but it will be basically out to the entire community. Hey, what does Morgan Hill's 120th anniversary look like to you? Create a logo for us, send it in, and then we'll have a panel and a vetting process and hoping to launch that commemorative logo, which we'll use all year next year in January. So that's kind of the first piece of it. Krista will then launch the Destination Morgan Hill magazine. We're looking at potentially doing a restaurant week. So a lot of really exciting things, not just new things, but also kind of bolstering some of the things already happening in the community. It's the Poppy Jasper International Film Festival 20-year anniversary next year. So a lot of really neat milestones and just really trying to celebrate that for the full year long. And I think that's it.
And Rick, that concludes my report.
Hey, Rick,
Well, thank you, both of you.
Real quick, I don't know if maybe Brittany would want to do an update for Mary Morgan Hill.
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Mayor. So Mary Morgan Hill is, I think most of you know, is a collaboration of several organizations in town. We have been meeting at the mayor's lead since January. We just to put together really some festivities for the holiday season. So the Chamber of Commerce will be opening that Mary Morgan Hill season with their Mary Morgan Hill Market Holiday Bazaar at the CCC the night before the parade on Friday. Then we'll have the parade, the Kiwanis Holiday Lights Parade on Saturday. And the City of Morgan Hill Parks and Recreation team will also host a free filming of The Grinch indoors inside the CCC after the holiday parade. Since we figured everyone's down there, they have their chairs and everything. They can just hop on over and watch a free movie if that's what they'd like to do. After that, we have got Sidewalk Saturdays Holiday Edition. That will be the second Saturday of the month. That will be from 9 to 2, and that is going to be all the holiday stuff. So it's going to be meet Santa, decorate cookies, decorate ornaments, write your letter to Santa and submit it. There's vendors there. There's activities. I mean, it is just holiday 2.0 for that one. And then that following week on Thursday, I believe Gabby is also hosting from the PBID a cookies. It's called Cookies with Santa, but it's really kind of your last minute makers market final holiday purchases. You know, get your unique custom items from Morgan Hill. Come check out the Granada Theater, enjoy live music, and do some cookies with Santa. And then that Saturday will be kind of round out our final portion of the activities. And that is going to be a special feature from South Valley Civic Theater. It's a special production called Holiday on Cue. They have designed it specifically for Mary Morgan Hill. So we're really, really excited. It'll be a one-time show. I think we're kicking off at 5:30 or 6. So we'll send out all of that information and invite the community to attend. All of those events are free to attend. I think, did I miss anything, Mr. Mayor?
I think we have something on the 20th. I don't recall what it is. The only 2 days we don't have something going on is the 12th and the 19th, but we'll find some way to fill that in as well.
Oh, the 20th is the South Valley Civic Theater. That's the holiday.
Got it. Okay,
holiday
missed
on
that.
cue.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
And Brittany, we also have the downtown storefront decorating contest.
Thank you, John. Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot that. The Morgan Hill Downtown Association for a second year now is going to be doing a holiday window decorating contest for the downtown businesses. And I believe John is leading that effort through them.
Okay, thank you. A lot going on as we enter the holiday season. Also, updates. Joe, any updates from the Planning Commission?
Yes. So we had a meeting Tuesday, and we had 2 general plan amendments, both driven by new state laws. There's a new element going into the general plan. It's called Healthy Neighborhoods for All. We know that in this meeting as Adams Project. He presented here several times on that project. The other thing about that project is CAPS interns. CAPS is Climate Action Pathway for Schools. It's a collaboration with Morgan Hill Unified. Adam got a grant or helped him getting a grant. And we had a bunch of interns that worked on this project and the next general plan up. They presented part of the presentation last night on both housing element change. And it seems like a really good program and one that we should look like. It involves juniors and seniors in high schools. The second change was a narrow focus change to implement SB 1425 in the natural resources and environment, which is our open space element in the general plan. And we both recommended both get approved by the city council. And then we had what I believe is a really major event that will help our opportunity neighborhoods identified in the Healthy Neighborhoods for All. We piloted very successfully the first real-time translation into Spanish for the meeting. It was completely done real time. You just have to speak and present it. And I believe if I'm looking at the dais where the council sits or the planning commission sits, the left-hand big screen was completely in Spanish, but they could do verbal or they could hear it audio on their phone by tying into it. And we just had to talk, no pause. The translation was completely real time. And it will also work the reverse way. If somebody is speaking in Spanish, it will translate it to English. That is a huge shout out to Michelle as the public information officer and the city IT team. It worked perfectly. We had an audience member that actually checked out 2 or 3 other languages, and they all translated correctly. So it was a huge win. And that's all I have.
Okay, any questions for Joe? No, Larry, I understand you need to run. Do you have anything to add?
Federal government is open.
Okay.
Yeah, I
next.
don't have anything to add, Rick. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the updates from all the items. And I as well want to thank the mayor for joining us, explaining this to us, and all the outreach you're doing on behalf of all of South County. I'm sure I still don't understand the answer to Matt's question about what problem they're really trying to solve for. But maybe that's what a delay will actually allow all of us to think and them to think. I'd love this is to you. I'd love for an opportunity for them to come talk to us as well, to ask some questions of them. It sounds like the people I see on my screen here are pretty united in our concern about this. But seeing that there might be a positive path forward is a great thing. But I think direct communications with the county is really what we would like to see as our next steps. The paper's done. If you haven't been following it, the Morgan Hill Times has actually done a really nice job of following this issue. They've had several articles about this, including a great one when the mayor brought Supervisor Lee and staff from Supervisor Ellenberg's office down. And so there's sort of a chronology and a couple of stories that you can go back and look at from the Morgan Hill Times and the Dispatch to get some background on it as well. But I'd love for us to push a little bit more to see if we can get someone from the county to come talk to us on this also. Thanks everyone for joining us. Super excited to see some new names and faces this morning. So really glad to have both new businesses and new people involved in our local community through your Chamber of Commerce. Rick, thanks for giving me a minute, and I do apologize, but I do have a 9 o'clock for my pay job that I got to go take care of. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Hey there, real quick, if you've got a second, I'll just quote what Supervisor Otto Lee said at the meeting with the farmers and ranchers and all that. He said, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it."
Famous last words, right?
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Okay, thank you. John Horner, update Morgan Hill Unified School District.
Happy to. Thank you, Rick. And also I dropped in the chat. There's still 1 day to register for the Kiwanis Holiday Parade if you want to get your organization in there. We've got, so that's with my Kiwanis hat on, we've got than ever. That's just going to be such a fun and free event for the community. Yeah, so Morgan Hill Unified, I want to thank Joe for mentioning the CAPS program. I'm really excited to see how that's come along. Just a little backstory. 3 years ago at the annual California School Boards Association Education Conference, there's breakout sessions, and one of the sessions I went to was actually presenters from a school district and the CAPS network. And like, wow, we need that. So I, as you do as an elected, I brought that back to staff. What do you think? They're like, yeah, this is good. And they went and implemented it. So I'm really excited to see that coming along. Our young people are very interested in this topic. And it's great to hear that, they've integrated with the city, and it's just, I'm very happy. I'm very pleased. And thank you everybody that was supporting these young people. And then also somebody mentioned, the real-time translation. I often find myself in spaces where I don't speak Spanish and the person I'm speaking to doesn't speak English. The Google Translate app on my phone does the real-time thing. I don't know if that's what the city's using. It's amazing. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's allowed me to communicate. It's almost like the Star Trek Universal Translator. You just speak how you're comfortable speaking, and each person understands each other. That's amazing. And then the last thing I'll mention tonight at our school board meeting, we will. Today is the end of the embargo on the California statewide school dashboard data. Every school district gets rated, attendance, graduation rates, so forth and so on. And stay tuned for the details. But we've made major gains, and particularly I consider 2019 the baseline year, right? Kind of. As going back to what we called quasi-normal, and on all the indicators, we've made significant gains over that baseline year. You look at the 2020, 21, 22, 23 data, there's a lot of, with the everybody home and how, anyhow, the data was kind of a mess for a while, but not only did we just show significant improvement from 24 to 25, but for me, the benchmark is before this particular iteration. So I'm very proud of that. Stay tuned for what, Dr. Garcia wants to release that tonight, but then there will be, a push out. You will probably get tired of hearing about it, but preview of coming attractions. That's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Joe? Nope. Okay, Nick, any updates from the chamber?
Yeah, just a quick update. I know we're running close to the hour here. First, I wanted to thank Mayor Turner again for all the work on the issue that was discussed this morning on the topic itself. It's going to be quite intriguing to watch and follow the process over the next year. The chamber will be there to help support that as well, Mayor Turner. We had a nice ribbon cutting this week with Raising Cane's. I should bring that up as well. They opened up their doors, I believe, on Tuesday for the public. It was a great opportunity to present yet another new member to the chamber, more importantly to the community. It was also very heartwarming to understand the depth and breadth that they're going to bring to our nonprofits as far as community advocacy and support. So looking forward to a wonderful relationship with Raising Cane and the team that's managing that franchise here in Morgan Hill. We actually have another ribbon cutting tonight at Beauty Within Med Spa right here on 35 West Main Avenue. For those who would like to attend, we're always so proud to be able to offer ribbon cuttings for our new members and to provide a little bit of a deeper insight on the business and the passion that drove them to open up their business here in Morgan Hill. So we're very excited about that. As Brittany mentioned, we always are excited about collaborating with the Buy Local program. Of course, that's the key message for all of our retailers as well as small business owners here. Let's spend and enjoy what we have here in Morgan Hill, and buy local, and buy local. That's going to be the mantra for the next really 45 days. So that is in motion as well. Again, we mentioned we're happy to participate in a wonderful collaborative of Merry Morgan Hill. We're going to have obviously wonderful activities for the next month and a half that'll begin soon, right after Thanksgiving. Again, the chamber is having our Merry Morgan Hill Market Bazaar, Holiday Bazaar on the 5th at the CCC between 4 and 9 p.m. I think we have about 50 vendors for your first opportunity to purchase gifts for the holidays. Of course, Santa and a few other other opportunities that'll be sprinkled through the event. So hopefully the community will be able to show up and have a great night there as well, as well as with all the other activities that'll be transpired over the course of the next really 45 days leading up to the final holiday for this year, which will be great. As far as other areas that I wanted to mention really quickly, I'm looking at my notes and looking at the time. I think, Rick, I think that takes care of it. We're working on obviously closing this year on a strong front on many areas, and we're already pre-planning for next year. So stay tuned as more information comes out within the month of December. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Nick. Any questions for Nick? Alex, how about open space?
Oh, I should mention
ahead.
really quickly, Rick, I almost forgot that the Celebrate nominations are out there for the community. So please take a look and participate and engage the Man of the Year, Small Business of the Year, et cetera. Those awards are obviously very significant for the community of Morgan Hill. This is the process by the end of the year where we take a look at nominations and then form our roster for the board to make those award decisions. So if you have an opportunity, go to the Chamber website and vote for the business or individual of your choice.
Thank you. Alex.
Hi there, real quick. Unlike some of my compatriots, I will, so we signed the MOU for the El Toro Trail, and just something I've been working on with the Open Space Authority as long as I've been working on the El Toro Trail is allowing, in some cases, dogs on leashes like the county parks do. And so I think I convinced, I think I found a chink in the armor. This is, we're going to call it an urban trail. So, and I also pointed out that everybody on that dais owns a dog. And if we want further cooperation with the city, my recommendation is we allow, along with, county regulations, we allow dog on leashes. So I think that's going to happen.
Great.
And there you go.
There we go.
We have one vote right there.
We had 4 votes, 4 paws, 4-paw votes there, right?
I'm sure we do. So anyway, that's it for now. There's more to come. We just received $14.8 million to buy some land abutting San Benito County. And you talk about leverage. We didn't have to pay a nickel for that money. So anyway, we're working, we're having pretty good success. So we have several acres coming to add to the agricultural of our county. So there you go. Any questions?
Thank you, Alex. I guess finally, John McKay, anything updates from the Downtown Association?
Yeah, a couple. I guess the big thing right now is that Downtown Association hosted the first whiskey walk. You can't, well, I'm sorry, you can't, we couldn't use whiskey walk. It was Whiskey Week. I was not present for the event, but I understand it was very successful. I know that from my perch, at the end of the day, there were still a lot of people milling about, heard nothing but good things about it. So that's certainly something that we consider a win, and we'll see what happens next year if there's an expansion on the concept. I think that going into the holidays, we're focusing on trying to get a little bit more information about our businesses out in front of everybody. I think we're all trying to do that right now. Busy with the Mary Morgan Hill effort. I think the other thing that I've been promoting myself, mentioned this to the mayor and also economic development, that is, I think it'd be a really good time for us to have a downtown symposium. We've had a couple in the past, and these are very informative. We've got a lot of changes taking place here in the next few months in the downtown, and I don't know if all of our businesses have been really well informed. So I'd like to work on an effort there to create a downtown business symposium or forum, however you'd want to call it, but bring our business together and let them know that there are a lot of changes coming with the completion of the Mohai Hotel, Granada Hotel, I'm not sure, Leal Hotel, whatever we're going to call it in the end. That's going to be bringing a lot of changes to the downtown. As it is, we're just seeing a lot of changes and growth. So let's educate everybody in the downtown. Let them be at their best when everything starts to happen next year. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for John? If not, any other announcements that anybody wants to make?
Question for Alex, or maybe comment about, as we're thinking through the 120th anniversary next year, if we have any milestones or we want to do some specific trail walks or something like that. Happy to work with you in open space to push that out. Thank you.
That's a good idea. Brittany, if you send me some specifics on timing, let me pass it on to my staff.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, having said that, thank you everybody for attending, and it'll be a busy holiday season, but we'll see you next month. Thank you.